Hello everyone and good evening. Today we're going to be looking at AP Biology, Organism, Ecology study questions. And again, this is a brief overview I'm using the information that was given to us in a PowerPoint for our class, specifically for our class. And if you guys have more information or different information over the same subjects, please feel free to use your own materials to look at these further and explore. It's not going to hurt you any, it's just going to benefit you if you keep exploring and really diving into this material. Right, so this is going to be brief, so it's not going to have every single detail out there, but it's just going to be brief and concise. Do my best to answer these questions. All right, so first of all, organisms. We have the first question. List two biotic and two abiotic factors that can affect organisms. And biotic factors, again, those are living factors and stimuli. Abiotic aren't alive. So biotic factors could be different animals living in the same area. Abiotic could be like the temperature of the area could affect the organism. Maybe the minerals in the area also affect the organism. Maybe like a plant, the minerals would also have an effect on the plant's growth. We have, I think we listed one. Let's list another one. Two, abiotic. Maybe like a predator-prey relationship would be another one, because those are the contest between two organisms for survivability. Another abiotic factor, I think we listed two there. We listed minerals in the area, and the temperature could affect an organism. So we're good to go. Okay, our next one, ethology. And ethology, if I could find it. So it relates to the behavior of an organism. What and why in relation to the stimuli did that organism act or do and perform that action? And this is the study of ethology again. And why do scientists study proximate causes and ultimate causes of organism behavior? Give examples of each type of cause. So proximate cause would be, how does the behavior occur? And the ultimate cause, why does it occur? So why does it occur would be survival or reproduction. Proximate cause, I could think about this, would be maybe how does the behavior occur? Okay, so for survivability, let's say that there's an animal that's a prey item, and the proximate cause for it to, let's say zebra. Okay, so zebra make big groups, and they use these groups and their banding patterns to disorient maybe a lion that's coming after them. Proximate cause for them making a big group and maybe running would be a lion there. The ultimate cause is that herd mentality is survivability. For what reasons might organisms communicate? Communication is used for defense, contact with offspring, courtship, and establishing dominance. Gives several purposes of pheromones. Again, pheromones are chemical signals that some organisms are capable of using. They could be used for marking territory, recruiting. With fire ants, they use pheromones to recruit other organisms, and also mating. Give examples of three types of symbolic communication. Symbolic signals include auditory signals, which are like mating calls, warning calls, and attention for help. If you look this up, there's a bird called a honey guide, and it would call out to humans. It would sing to humans to find a human or another animal like a honey badger, and that bird would signal them over with its song so they could break open the beehives for it to eat. So that's just an auditory signal. A visual signal would be for courtship, mimicry. In fireflies, there's a lot of mimicry. And beetles. Beetles also use visual signals. The size of the beetle shows it's more dominant. So, like a smaller beetle would probably steer away from a larger one. Tactile signals, bonding, and aid for food. Bees do this with a waggle dance, again to get food. We have contrasted two types of behaviors. The types of behaviors: innate behaviors and learned behaviors. There's simple innate, which are the fixed action patterns. This means that the behaviors are triggered by sign stimulus. Once started, they're taken to completion. We were given the example of a goose using its long neck to push the eggs back into its nest. Well, if you show it an object that isn't an egg, you put a fake egg, a golf ball, whatever, the goose will still do this movement where it's trying to bring it into the nest, even though it isn't an egg. That's the fixed action pattern. 5 types of learned behaviors. We have imprinting. This is when the young organisms go through a critical period where they follow the actions of a parent. It doesn't have to be specifically the parent, as in there's cases of the young ducklings following a human home. This is the imprinting. We also have cognitive, which is the most complex. They mesh together mental processes to accomplish a task. There's a study with a chimpanzee where they put like a treat or its food on a higher platform or ledge. The chimpanzee figured out that it could stack boxes and crates to reach that higher area with its food or its treats. Associative, this is connecting one environmental factor to another. A blue jay vomits when it eats monarchs, so now it knows that these monarch butterflies must be poisonous or they don't taste good, so it won't go after them anymore. Social, this is when the elders teach the young ones. This is a longer developmental stage than imprinting. Imprinting is a critical period, so it's like a specific short period of time where the behaviors are learned. Social is the longer. Spatial, memories construct the physical space of the environment. There's an experiment with wasps and pine cones. The wasps would recognize the pine cones as the place of their nest, and they tried even using the scent of the pine cones. The wasps still didn't go there. It was only when there's that visual indicator of the pine cones themselves is when the wasp said, hey, that's where our nest is, so they went there. I think that was 5. Yep, that was all 5 of them. Use the following examples to explain how behavior evolves. So we have migration. Migration, we have things like piloting, where the organisms will use landmarks as beacons. Orientation, where they follow the compass for a straight line. Navigation, where they like a compass, but they could also adjust. So the birds in the Netherlands fly to France. This is normal for winter. They captured them in France. The young went to Spain, while the older birds went to France. So this means at some point they learned to go to France. The young ones kept going south to Spain. This is only orientation. They didn't have the navigation yet. But these older ones, at some point, because they learned to go to France in the winter, they went back to France. Optimal foraging, that's environmental constraints. They need to obtain the most energy with the least energy. So a crab is looking for mussels, and he goes after the middle-sized mussels. These are the best ones. This is again stabilizing selection from the evolution unit. Cracking open big mussels is pretty hard work. Smaller mussels are easier, but you have to find a lot of them, so that's another waste of energy. So that's why this crab, it goes over the medium-sized mussels. Mr. Krabs only hunts for the medium-sized mussels because it'll save time and it's more efficient. It could also be the defensive territory as well. Defining territory. Didn't really go after this one. This one might be one that you guys would like to look up more information on. Organism fitness. We have sexual dimorphism, where there's those 3 types here: polyandrus, polygamous, and monogamous. So there's sexual dimorphism, where the females differ from the males, and then there's also things like intersexual, where it's the female's choice, and there's intersexual, where the 2 males would compete for the female. Altruism, that's any behavior that increases group fitness but decreases own. This could be warning calls. Natural selection, this would be against natural selection because it does lower that individual organism's own fitness, but it does keep the species going. This is like penguins actually are pretty good at this altruism. What they do is they'll push a penguin into the water before all of them go to check if it's safe. Let's say if there's a leopard seal or some predator waiting in the water that's going to get that one penguin, but at least now they all know that the water isn't safe. So again, the group fitness increased, but of course the um, penguin that got eaten or killed or whatever decreased because it got killed. And compare and contrast polyandrous, polygamous, sorry about that, and monogamous. Again, this is like the bonding relationship between couples in animals, or the different sexes, especially in polygamous and polyandrous. In monogamous, we have the male and the female stay with each other for life. They're a pair. Polygamous, that's when one male would be with multiple females. Think birds of paradise. These are in the jungles of Papua New Guinea. They have big giant displays with a bunch of males, and then the females would look for the males who are doing the courtship dances the best. These males, if they're really good, they'll mate with multiple females in that display. It's called a lek. This happens in the jungle again. So yeah, it's just the males have multiple females that they're mating with, because again, it's female's choice. They're also competing with each other. And then polyandrous, this is the opposite of polygamous. Polyandrous is when the female is actually the one that mates with a bunch of males, other than like polygamous, where it's the male mating with a bunch of females. Female spiders are polyandrous. All right. And that was it. This is again brief. This is an overview of all of these topics. Please look up any extra information, or if you like to use your own materials, you're free to do so. If this was helpful. Have a good day and take care.